What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on this video once again. Today I just wanted to share some thoughts that I was having throughout this week, again, as we're doing these coaching calls and as we're taking a lot of questions, and even kind of what the Monday show was about. We're just hearing patterns of things that several people are all struggling with, and common themes that of walls that people are running into and bottlenecks that people are seeing in their business, and they're more closely related than we originally thought. We thought they were going to get this huge wide spectrum of all these problems and things that people are running into, and while there are a lot of them, there are definitely patterns that we're seeing in a lot of the talks that we're doing or the conversations that we're having, where it's just man, we really need to press in and find ways to help people solve these problems and get past these bottlenecks. And so the one that I'm pretty passionate about, if you guys have heard me talk basically over the last month, I think in every one of my over-the-shoulder talks or whatever I've been doing, I've said this word consistency. And I think I've been basically preaching on this word so much because I think that is really the big difference between, the reason I've had success versus why some people haven't had success is just my ability to be consistent, especially when we first started with print on demand. We run into a lot of those same walls. We had a lot of those same personal hurdles of just I don't know if this is working. Should I keep doing this? Is all this time that I'm putting in here actually helping? Am I able to actually, make any money with this thing? And I think I was able to push past a lot of those things. One, because I had Steven, my brother, helping me out with this, but also because this was just another thing that we were trying in a long stream of all of these avenues online or streams of revenue that we could be making online that we had tried to figure out. We have a history of doing, me and Steven have a history of doing RA, OA, private label, all of these things. And just through the experience of learning all those things, I just saw if you just kept at it, if you kept going, if you just kept, sitting down at your computer, setting that time aside to do this thing, eventually you would figure it out. You'd kind of crack that code. You'd start to see some patterns and start to be able to replicate those patterns and just have more consistent success. So this video isn't really the normal type of videos where I'm doing, where it's over the shoulder. I very clearly have a point that I'm trying to make, but I just wanted to talk about this idea consistency for just a few seconds here, and tell you guys that you're not the only one out there struggling. We're hearing a lot of you guys struggling with certain different things, but really we think the way to solve these, especially for yourself when you're just trying to learn, is just being consistent. And so something that Steven said on the Monday show really rang with me. And I don't think we had talked about this idea before. It was just something Steven kind of came up with on the show. And that's to set these goals, or these smaller goals that you can achieve daily or weekly. And so basically when you sit down at your computer, to have a goal in your mind of what you're going to try to achieve, or for that week when you're thinking about your print on demand business or side hustle, whatever you're calling it, just having goals in mind of what you personally want to achieve and try to hit those goals. It might seem obvious or oversimplified, but I really do think that's the reason we were able to have success, is because our goal wasn't in the first night we have to make $1 million. Our goal was often okay, Steven needs to figure out the customer thing and keywords, and just putting his time into that and setting goals that relate to that. And for me, for art, it was just speeding up my art process, and I eventually got to a point where it wasn't possible for me to create any faster and still keep the quality up. So that's when we started outsourcing and doing all those things. But it was only because we were setting these goals and trying to stick to them that I think our business kept moving forward. And so again, the best way to achieve goals is if you're actually consistently going after those goals daily or weekly, how much ever time you have to set apart to do print on demand. But that was kind of a common thing, and even something that I said on the Monday show, where someone asked me throughout the week, I set the time apart, but I'm sitting down and I just feel lost. And so I think if you have those goals set where it's okay, I want to do research on this day, I want to do art on this day, and I want to do the listings on this day. And if you actually set goals for all three of those things, I think you'll be able to achieve a lot more and actually be able to get those listings up, which is, the most important thing in print on demand, to actually get those listings live so customers can purchase, the designs and the effort that you're putting into this. So again, I know this isn't our normal videos here on YouTube, and encouragement isn't usually like the thing that me and Steven are best at, but this was my attempt to hopefully, just share what was on my heart from that Monday call that we did, of just like this importance of setting these small achievable goals and to keep moving forward as consistently as possible. Definitely every week if you're trying to grow this thing and just gain knowledge on it, but if you can do it daily, try to do this daily, set apart that time, but have a goal for that time. Not just, I'm going to sit down and do print on demand. I don't really know what that means, but maybe, one day you're just focusing on the keywords, the next day you're just focusing on the art, and the last day you can just focus on the listing. And the reason we suggest doing it that way, especially when you start, is because you're learning so much new stuff. And really, the thing that I think has allowed me and Steven to have the level of success that we have is because we're able to see patterns in what's working very clearly. And so if you're jumping between, keywords, design, and listing, it's a lot harder to see those patterns when you first start off. And so if you just focus all day or all of like this chunk of time on one of those things, I think it's a lot easier to start seeing some patterns, and also to start see some ways that you can streamline your process and actually speed things up and be more efficient. So again, I know not our typical video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this little bit of encouragement from your friendly neighborhood wingman on this Tuesday. And if you did, please leave us a like. If you didn't leave us a dislike, we'll know to go back to over the shoulder stuff and more poignant content. And if you have any questions about like how you personally be consistent, or anything about the print on demand realm, or even outside of print on demand as we're starting to expand, you can leave those down in the comments below, or you can jump on a 20-minute coaching call with me and Steven. We're still doing those until the end of the month. We've had a ton of people sign up, so I'm very excited, especially as we go into the end of the week. We've got I think 10 calls set up in the next couple of days, so those are always a good time for us to just connect with this community. We're not trying to push you into anything or sell you anything. We really just, for our own sake, want to, I think for me, it's a lot of fun to get to meet you guys. Now that I'm not traveling all around, doing these sit-down calls is good for me to just keep talking with our community. But also, we want to see exactly where you're at, and maybe, hopefully, find a solution for whatever you're currently going through, or just some encouragement like this, that you can do this and you just got to keep moving forward. All right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you around.